My name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the Executive Director for Veterans Memorial and Multicultural Histories Incorporated. Today is Monday, February the 3rd, 2025, and we're here at Riviera Beach Preparatory Achievement Academy. And sir, what is your name?
Myron K. Clemens.
Okay, Mr. Clemens. And when's your birthday?
April 25th, 1970.
Great. And okay. Sorry about that. What city do you live in?
I live in Palm Beach Gardens.
Okay. And I have some of my students with me today. I've got Fasal, DeAndre, Yvonne, Ariane, Amari, Maya, and Quenisha. Okay, all my students here, and we're located at Riviera Beach Preparatory Achievement Academy. I think I probably said that already. So anyway, what branch of the service were you in, sir?
United States Navy.
Okay, and what were you doing prior to going into the service?
Well, I was working with my family doing construction and going to high school.
Okay. All right. So how old were you when you went into service?
I was 18.
18. Okay. What branch did you go in again?
United States Navy.
Why did you choose that branch?
I chose the Navy because, first of all, I am a Floridian and I am used to being around water. And I learned how to swim at a very young age. So, the Navy it took my interest because of the water aspect, and also I knew I would be traveling from the different countries because of the sailing and the water aspect.
You wanted to travel?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I understand. Were you drafted or enlisted?
Enlisted.
Got it. All right. And where were you living at the time that you went in?
I was living down in West Palm Beach.
All right. All right, so tell us about basic training.
Basic training was difficult.
Where was it?
Orlando, Florida.
Okay, and how long was it?
I want to say it was 4 months during that time.
About 16 weeks.
Yeah, 16 weeks.
Did you also do your AIT, your career specialty at that time?
No, I did my career specialty in California.
Okay, so that basic training was a solid 4 months.
Correct.
Gee whiz. So tell us about it. What was so hard about it?
Oh, well, first of all, because I didn't join any ROTC programs.
Right.
It was difficult. I had to learn how to march. You learn how to pull your clothes up a certain way, and then the rigorous training for us, the jumping, the running, the exercising, and etc. And then the hardest part, which I've seen a lot of folks fail, was the swimming, because you have to be able to swim to join the Navy. If you can't swim, don't join the Navy.
Yeah, that doesn't really make that much sense, does it?
No, but we had a lot of individuals join, and I seen them get recycled because of the swimming. And the swimming aspect, you have to be able to tie your clothes up a certain way and blowing to them to make them floating devices. Because when you're on a ship, and if ship you don't have a raft or a boat, your clothes, you can use your clothes as flotation devices to keep you alive.
Okay, all right. I'm sure there's a lot to that. So for a solid 16 weeks, how was the food in basic training?
Food was not good at all.
Sea rats?
Yeah,
the
food was terrible. And then one thing they do make you do in basic training,
right,
for you gentlemen that have a lot of hair, they make everybody shave their hair bald.
But then you get to grow it back, though, right?
Then you get a chance to grow it back. But everybody, you can't go in there saying you want a particular haircut. Everybody is the same. They shave your hair bald. And for the women, they make you keep your hair short.
Right, exactly.
They don't cut your hair though. They don't cut the women hair.
What about mustaches and beards?
Mustache, they make you shave your face. So your face is bald. Your hair is bald, your face is bald.
Okay. And then when we get done with, so then when you go to tech school, you get to grow some of that back. I think even in the Navy, you can have a little beard, because I know.
Yeah, you can.
In the Navy.
Yeah,
In
but
other branches, you can just get away with the mustache a little bit. Yeah.
right. But when I was in back then, you couldn't get away with the beard.
Okay.
Now it was either you can have probably a little mustache and no facial hair
At all.
at all.
But you were getting a paycheck the whole time, right?
I got paid the whole time.
Okay. All right. So so let's move on to tech school.
Okay.
What was your AIT?
My AIT. Here's the deal with my service. I started in radio communication,
Right.
but I got in a little trouble.
Uh-huh.
So they kicked me out of AIT school, and then they sent me down to the work bosun's mate,
Okay.
and that was a difficult job.
What was that job?
That job, you maintenance the ship, you drive the ship, you drive the boats, you operate the cranes, you refuel the ship. It's kind of like the jack of all trades.
Right.
So you work in supply, you work with weapons, you work with everybody in the military, especially the Navy. You have to work with guns, because when you're not doing your job, you stand watch and you walk around with guns. You walk around with a 45, and we used to have an M14 rifle, an assault rifle.
Okay. What was your original job that you were supposed to get?
It should have been radio communications.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you ever get to that?
I never got back to that job. Matter of fact, I went to bosun's mate, and then when I went into the reserves,
Right.
I was a military police.
Okay. And when you got off active duty, by the way, I wanted to ask you this on the front end. What was your what rank were you when you separated from active duty?
E4,
And okay, how many years did you commit to do? I've been getting these questions from my students.
4 years.
4 years in the Navy. It's
Yeah,
4 years in the
I-
Air Force also. I think it's in the Marine and Army. It's 2 or 3.
It's 4 years active. Back then, it was 4 years active and 4 years inactive.
Okay.
But a couple years after being inactive, I joined the reserves, and
Okay.
that's when I became a military police also.
And we'll get to that. So how long was the tech school anyway?
The tech school, it was on the job tech school. So I mean, yeah,
So you
yeah.
just went to your first duty station,
and went right to my first duty station.
and that was a ship.
That was a ship,
What ship was that?
USS Detroit.
And where was it? Where did where was? So basic was where?
Basic was in Orlando,
Orlando. And tech school was where?
San Diego, California.
California. So then the ship was.
And the ship was located in Virginia. So after I left San Diego, California, I went to Virginia. But then during the course of the changes in command, the military was doing a lot of shifting. They moved us from Virginia to a weapons station in Earl, New Jersey, off the Jersey Shore.
Okay. How did you get from San Diego to Virginia? Did you drive or did you fly? Or
fly.
Did you, you flew. They
Yeah.
flew you.
Yeah, they flew me.
Okay. All right. I was curious. Okay. So this is actually now your first duty station, right?
My first duty station.
How long was this tour?
Well, the Navy is different from most services.
Uh-huh.
You'll stay in land for maybe 4 or 5 months or 6 months sometime. Then you go to sea for 6 months. But if it's a war, which I know you're going to get to that,
Right.
you get extended.
Okay.
You get extended and you stay out there a lot longer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Okay. So we're done with tech school. So now you're on your ship. And what was the name of the ship again?
USS Detroit.
Okay, Detroit. And how long were you affiliated with that ship?
Oh, my entire career.
Okay, for that 3-4 years.
Yes.
Got it. So you were deployed during that time?
I was deployed. I was deployed twice.
Okay. What year did you go in the military?
I went in
Active duty.
1988.
And what time? What year did you get out?
I got out in 1992.
Off of active duty.
Active duty.
Okay. 88 to 9, so for 4 years. Okay, so where did you deploy to?
I deployed. My first deploy, they call it a Mediterranean tour, and we went to Turkey, Spain, Greece, Israel, France. Where else did we go? Turkey, Spain, Greece, Israel, France, and Greece.
And Greece.
Yes.
Okay, and those, well, you may have, so any of those countries you engage with combat?
No, not my first tour. My second tour, I engaged in combat.
So while you were on that tour, you got to visit all those countries.
Correct.
And besides the ones that you called out, when you got shore leave, any places that you went besides the ones you already called out? Did you go up in Europe? Did you go back to the States?
No. Well, I frequently when we came back from the tour, I always came back home. Mm-hmm. But then I also toured, like when I was in New Jersey, I used to go to Newark and New York all the time.
Okay. Why is that? I'm just curious.
Because it was close by.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Newark was only like 40 minutes from us, and then New York was probably maybe another 15, 20 minutes. So you're talking an hour.
Got it. Okay. All right. So how was that for the first 4 years? So now you're out of basic training, you're out of tech school. So on the ship and any of the other bases, how was the food?
You know what? I can tell you our food, because we're on a supply ship.
Right.
We had our food was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And then, if you did not want to eat anything, they always served tuna. So I mean, if you didn't want to eat what it was, you can eat tuna. You can make your tuna salad.
Okay, you make a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. All right. So now let's get to the second part. So the 4 years in the reserve.
I did 4 years in the reserve.
Okay. And
that was West Palm Beach.
Okay, I was getting ready to say. So you got out of the service, you came back to West Palm?
Correct.
All right, and then you did 4 years reserve duty.
Correct.
Out of where? You said West Palm, but where specifically?
West Palm Beach. It was Belvedere, West Palm Beach.
Gotcha.
The Naval Reserve Center.
Gotcha.
That's what they call it. Naval Reserve Center, West Palm Beach.
Across the street from the airport.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, so that's not bothering us. Okay, so so how many times did you deploy out of the Belvedere station?
Let me tell you, I was lucky because they sent me to military police school. Mm-hmm. So they deployed me there. That was in St. Louis, outside of St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri, okay.
That was an Army base.
Oh, what base was it? You remember?
Fort. Oh man, whatever the base is, it's in Missouri. Okay. I can't figure it out right now, but
that's okay.
They sent me there, and then I came back, and I was an MP in the reserves, the military police and reserves.
So that's when you started to become a security police officer? I mean, military police.
Correct.
All right. So you did your jack of all trades for 4 years on active.
Exactly.
So you were all over the place.
Exactly.
Okay. Were there any casualties while you were during the first 4 years that you know of? Any casualties at all?
Oh yeah, I've had many casualties because I was in the Gulf War. I did 9 months in the Gulf War. I remember one time we were in Haifa, Israel, and the military. If you have large boats like the Navy,
right,
they won't. A lot of ports, they don't have. We call them. They're not deep water ports, so you can't pull the boats in pierside.
So you have to stay out in the ocean.
You have to anchor, and then in order for us to get pierside,
go on a little boat.
We use the small boats,
right.
But our command, we normally operate the boats to get people from shore, ship to shore. But what happened, since we was pretty much getting ready going to the Gulf War,
right? They
decided, okay, they're going to give us a break before this wartime, and use the Israeli boats. The contract those boats. Mm-hmm. To take all the sailors off the boat and go from ship to shore. Well, it was rough seas, and really no boat shouldn't have been out there because the seas were so rough. But they had small boats taking sailors if they wanted to go in town.
Yeah,
from the ship to shore.
Right.
And I recall the boat capsized, and it was dark at night, and like 21 sailors died. Jesus. And they brought all those bodies on our ship to freeze and then because we have coolers,
Right.
the freezer send them off to the
Freezers,
family. Yeah, that was one situation, and another situation I recall, we was pulling in Norfolk, Virginia,
Yes.
and I was shaking some of my friends' hands that was going to a different command, and as I was shaking their hand, we were pulling in Norfolk, Virginia. The helicopter, in the Navy, you always have like 2 helicopters.
Right.
Yes, or the bigger ships like the aircraft carrier, they have planes,
Right.
hundreds of planes. But on the smaller ships, they'll have 2 helicopters. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, the helicopter was leaving the ship.
Right.
Because we had a certain group of sailors.
Right.
And they were enlisted and officers. They had to go to their next duty station. In the military, when they want you to go to a different duty station, they're going to find any means necessary to get you there. Either they're going to get you there by small boat, they're going to get you by helicopter, or however they need to get you there. Well, anyway, they had these 5 individuals, or it was 4 individuals. They got on the ship, the helicopter, and as the helicopter left the ship, it blew up.
Wow.
And
How many people were on there?
4. And they died like that.
It's like that.
Yeah. So when you see things like that, man, I mean, the good Lord had his hands on me because I could have been on a helicopter.
Right.
And those guys died. They died right away.
Right away. Okay, so those were incidents that occurred, I'll say, within the service.
Yes.
So what I'm curious about is, you deployed to the Middle East,
Yes.
and so how long? You said 9 months.
9 months.
And where were you again?
I was in the Red Sea, and then we was in the Persian Gulf.
Okay, so what countries are the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf by?
Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And we I actually been to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Huh?
I actually been to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
That's on my second tour.
Gotcha.
I actually been to that country.
Okay, and what's special about it?
Nothing special. They just have strict rules.
Like what?
You have to be fully clothed. Women, you can't show your legs, and
Your faces?
Your facial is fine.
Right.
But it's just certain rules, man. You can't, like for instance, you can't spit on their sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Throw trash?
You can't throw trash.
None of that.
None of that.
What else?
And they also have where if you steal something and you get caught over there as an American,
Right.
they have to try to bail you out because they still live in the Old Testament. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
So if you take something with your hand, they want to cut your hand off.
They will cut your hand off. Yeah. So, but it didn't happen to us. But what I'm trying to tell you, man, if you get caught up in their jails or get caught up,
right?
Any
of your fellow soldiers?
No. Everybody knew how to act.
I'll tell you real quick. I was at Biloxi real quick, Biloxi for training twice.
Right.
And we would get an Article 15 if we went in the water there because the water was so bad. That was back in like 1978, 79. The water was so bad from the Gulf, from the oil.
Right.
That if they caught you going into the ocean, you could go to the beach and sit on the beach.
Right.
They would give you an Article 15. You get fined. You would get fined.
Well, yeah, certain things. What he's saying is true.
Yeah.
Certain things you cannot do over there, man.
You
cannot
do anything to hurt yourself physically, and not just avoid that. And if you got caught, you would be disciplined. You would be disciplined.
Exactly. The military, and it was a different military back then.
Right.
They were not going to let you, not let any of the sailors embarrass them.
Okay, so back to, did you go to Iran and Iraq?
We was off the coast of Iraq.
Okay.
So what we did, and I can tell you my job title, we supplied a lot of the ships with the weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
When the bombs were hitting Iraq.
Right.
And also on my ship, we actually use they call it military sea-whiz system.
Okay.
To detect because we had several ships back then, and you all wouldn't know this. They have water mines. So the ships hit water mines and they explode. And another thing, for you guys interested in the Navy, all sailors are certified firefighters.
Oh, really?
Every sailor on the ship is a fireman, and they give you a big thick book.
Right.
So regardless, you could be the ship cook. You're a firefighter.
You're still a firefighter. You come out of the service and get that job right away, huh?
You can get that job. A lot of sailors get that job.
Okay.
But you still have to go through the firefighting school. But most of the firefighting, I can tell you things of firefighting right now. I know just as much firefighting as my job within this job.
Got you. What now? Say it again.
I know as much about fighting fires
I bet.
as my daily job.
What kind of ship were you on? How big was that ship? How many sailors were on the ship?
It holds 650 people.
Okay.
And it was a amphibious oiler ship. That's what it was.
Okay. A what?
Amphibious oiler. Yes.
Why oiler?
Why? Because what happens? It's a supply ship. So food, oil, ammunition.
Okay.
We had.
So who did you supply?
We supply every ship within our battle group.
Gotcha. How about ordnance?
We had ordnance.
Okay.
Lots of explosives.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And some of the explosives I can't talk about.
Okay. Any accidents and casualties?
No casualties, thank God.
So did your unit ever directly engage in combat with the enemy?
What happened within our unit, we were always protected.
Okay. By
So
what?
protected by other ships because in our vicinity, because we had so much weaponry around us, it's always a submarine and it's always they call it frigate.
Okay.
In our vicinity. But all the ships were kind of attacked by the enemy because they threw the Iraqis, they threw water mines and ships exploded.
Wow.
I mean, we thank God we didn't explode and hit those mines.
With other ships out?
Yeah, we witnessed that, and we had to come to aid to help those other ships.
Got you. So you had the experience of being in combat and also seeing a lot of people become casualties.
Yep.
Can you just guesstimate how many people possibly got lost during your? You don't know, hundreds, thousands.
Probably hundreds.
Okay. Were there any women on your ship?
No. Back then, the women, they were only on the tenders. And they call the ships, they call tenders. They're repair ships. Like if a boat is broken, they'll send a small boat out there to repair a ship.
Right. Okay. All right. The entire time that you were either on active duty or in the reserve, did you have any difficulty staying in touch with your family?
Yes. Most of the time you communicate with your family through mail.
Okay, so you were able to do that.
Yeah, but that's the only, I couldn't talk to them physically, like on the phone. But it's only through mail, writing letters.
Okay, but you got letters from home and you sent letters home?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What did you do for pressure and stress? Because I know that you had probably a ton of it.
Well, a lot of times, we have weights. So, I used to lift weights, and then sometimes, some of the guys, if we did have some time, we would play cards or, Just diversion. Yeah. Diversionary activities. We'll watch movies, if we have time. But during wartime, you really don't have any time.
Right.
No time.
On call 24 hours a day.
24/7, and you're sleeping on the ground.
On the ground?
Well, on the deck. We don't call it in the Navy, we call it deck.
Okay.
In Army, you guys call it ground, but it's deck.
Was it a cushion or?
No cushion.
Just a floor?
Floor.
You didn't have a sleeping bag?
Nothing.
Are you serious?
Serious. Sometime, yes.
Sometime?
Yes. Not all the time.
Not every day?
Not every day, but sometime, yes.
Did they have bunks on the ship?
If we're on call, we had bunks where we could sleep in, but we're on call and we were working out there.
Right.
Because, you don't have set hours in the military.
Okay, right.
You're sleeping on deck.
Got you. So you just to get some shut-eye.
Right.
You just go ahead and.
But that's if the sea's not rough. Now if the sea and that's the thing, if the seas are rough,
right,
you're not allowed on deck. So because I've seen people fall off the boat.
On what? Fall off?
Yes.
Sleeping.
No, sleeping, just walking around.
Just walking around.
And then the wave hit, and it bounced around off the ship.
And you're gone.
And you're gone. And then what ended up happening, we had to turn the boat around and then do some survival skills. No, we saved them, most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
But not all of them.
Some people get missing, man. I mean,
didn't make it.
It's
we're sending tomorrow.
Yeah, I can tell you, man. It's a different way of living. That's why they say Navy. But then when people they join, they don't understand. They say, man, you go through a lot.
Right. It's intense.
It's intense.
It's intense. Okay, let's keep moving here. Have you mentioned any place that you haven't already mentioned that you visited? I don't care, and we need to really get into your career that you're in now, a few minutes. But any place that you've ever visited that you haven't mentioned already? Just think for a minute.
Well, I've been to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I've been to Puerto Rico several times. Mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia, Spain, Greece, Israel, France, Turkey. Where else? I've been through the Bermuda Triangle. I can tell you a story with the Bermuda Triangle. Guantanamo Bay is a training place.
Oh, okay.
For the Navy. So,
I didn't know that.
It's a training.
Yeah, I'm always thinking it's like lockup.
No,
it has been a lot. But go ahead.
And we call it Gitmo.
Right.
And what happens when you go through to get to Guantanamo Bay, you have to go through the Bermuda Triangle. Mm-hmm. Where every time we went through the Bermuda Triangle, our ship broke down.
Really?
Yes.
Thanks for that information. Okay, that's always spooky. All right. Where am I going to go next? Did you two of your most? Well, you already did that. Oh, so what did you do after the service?
Well, I went.
When year did you get out? You got out in 92.
92. I went to college for a few years.
Where?
I went to Palm Beach State College.
Major. What was your major?
Criminal justice.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I did that for a couple years, and then while I was doing that, I was working in an auto parts store, and I became a manager at Advanced Auto.
Okay.
And then while I was working there, I had a few sheriff buddies working part-time for me, and then they persuaded me to come go to the sheriff office.
Okay. And how long you been with the sheriff? From 92?
No, I've been a sheriff. I actually went to sheriff at 1998.
98 to today.
Yeah.
So what do we got? 26 years.
Almost 27.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, and how's that treated you?
It's been pretty good, but I'm almost retired.
Getting ready to go.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so how did you get along with your enlisted and also officers? How'd you get along with,
I got along with them fine.
Overall,
but in the military, you're always going to have some type of conflict. Mm-hmm. So, we have issues, and a lot of times the issues get dealt with amongst ourselves.
Right.
Instead of getting supervisors and other folks involved.
Right. I hope that never involved anybody getting hurt.
No one had. No one got hurt. But
everybody survived.
Everybody survived, but you're always gonna have some bumps and bruises.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna get into it, because it, in the ship, they are gonna fight.
It's intense. Yeah.
It is what it is. People are gonna fight.
Very close quarters.
So in close quarters, and it is what it is, man. Right. You see a lot of boxing matches on the ship.
And my boys and girls,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
The sports issues. You have access to football, basketball.
All that.
Okay. What else besides those two? Soccer?
Soccer, everything. But when you're aboard the ship, you really, unless you're like on an aircraft carrier,
right?
They have basketball courts and all that.
But large enough.
Yeah, the smaller ships they don't have all
I got you.
They have
those aircraft carriers.
Yeah. It's mainly weights.
Got you. All right. Well, you stay in good shape at any rate, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, running up and down those steps, especially.
I gotta go.
Gee whiz. Okay, I know. Okay, did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Sometimes, yes.
Positive, negative?
In between.
Okay, got you. Last question, and if you guys got any questions, this is going to be the time for you to ask real quick because he's got to go. How did your service and experiences affect your life?
I can tell you this. One thing about my service and experience, it makes me always on time, responsible, and it it makes you organized, structure. The military is structure. So he'll tell you it's all routine. It's all routine, and one thing about being in the military, you're gonna carry yourself a certain way. I mean, like for instance, I can tell you, like you young guys, man, that pull your pants down. That's a no-go in the military. I know. I'm saying.
Okay. What was medals and citations?
I have plenty of medals. Southeast Asia medal,
Right.
Navy unit accommodation, good conduct award, Kuwait liberation, a Coast Guard Special Operation Award.
Okay,
I have them all listed.
Maintain any close friendships from the military?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
They're
You
gone.
belong to any military organizations now?
Well,
American Legion.
just the
VFW?
VA, just the VA. But I've been coached again. I'm going to join the American Legion. That's on my bucket list.
Okay. All right. Okay. Boys and girls, any questions?
Have you met your wife during the military?
No, after. That's another thing too. There's a lot of divorces in the military because of the deployment.
Right.
You're never with your spouse.
Yeah, you get orders to go and you got to go.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're going to have serious problems. I want to thank you for a wonderful interview. Girls, you got any questions? Fellas?
I've heard something though also with the facial hair in the military, like it's like some type of like medical condition where your facial hair tends to grow inwards.
That's folliculitis barbae.
Yeah. Is it?
It's real.
Where that you don't have to cut it off because of that type of
Right.
It's all according to how severe that is.
Nah.
But that is dictated by the VA, the military doctor.
Right.
They make that determination.
Exactly.
They don't just take your word for it.
Exactly.
Okay, and I know some of them have got to get to where they're going. I need to get a group shot and we're
Okay.
good.